Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and as you can see I've been working on some fun stuff that's going to be huge, but for now I'm going to be talking a little bit about about Yokai Watch. So, the game officially comes out in about a week, so I'm probably going to pick that up mostly to show you guys off, and mostly to see how it is. I mean, they have a demo out already, but the demo, it has some things I like and it has some things I don't like. First of all, it's got some, of course it has good music. Yokai Watch has really good music, as long as they don't try to sing over it in English. But it also has some pretty charming dialogue. Like there's a joke where the dad's talking about summer vacation and how he has to work to the summer. Ha ha! Ha ha. Yeah, but exactly like that. I've also gotten some information on the toys. The toys, Hasbro, it appears, is going to be making a lot of it from scratch, so we might not be getting the Bandai watch, but it looks like the Hasbro watch is only going to be $20. I don't know how they're going to do that without maybe gutting some features or something, although they say it'll work with hundreds of medals, so we'll have to see about that. They also are having toys, and the toys actually come with a version of the medal. That is going to be a fantastic frustration reduction feature, because if you really like Komasan, I'm probably going to buy the Komasan toy just to get his medal so that I don't have to buy the booster pack. So once I get my chance to have get my hands on those, I'll call up Hasbro, I'll see what they have. I'll be comparing the two together. I still have my Japanese watch, so it will be very easy to compare the two. There's also, they're working on a third game in Japan. I don't know if it's already out yet, but apparently the characters moved to America. I mean, I guess as far as how the Japanese understand America. So of course all the new yokai are things that Americans know about, like football and corn. It's a bit bizarre, especially since the city they're named in is a pun based on a Russian city, and the main character they have that's supposed to be the super American critter is, again, a pun that only makes sense in Japanese. It boggles my mind. But today I'm here to talk about the Yokai Watch show that they're showing on Disney XD. Now, in advance of the game's release, they're having a huge media push on Disney XD. They had like a solid week of nothing but new episodes. They've already put out like 8 episodes, and it's only been like a couple of weeks since the show came out, if I remember correctly. And I hate to say it, guys, it's a pretty big disappointment. Like, I'm looking at this show, and oh my gosh, I mean, just like the first clip from episode 7 is just so poorly dubbed that, you know, I had to turn the video off, walk away, and go vomit into my toilet for like 5 minutes the first time I heard that Prison's Guard's awful performance, and that's just kind of part of the show's trouble. I mean, the opening song, I can hear these voice actors, they're trying their best to try to make the song sound interesting, but the lyrics they're given are just so terrible that they just can't make it work. I mean, it's definitely not the song you get from the Pokemon introduction, the one from that classic song from so long ago that everybody remembers today. Nobody's going to remember the Yokai Watch introductory song. I mean, I've tried watching the English one a bunch of times, but the Japanese one just sounds so much better. And that's kind of what I'm talking about with an adaptation, is you don't necessarily need to take everything. If there's something you're definitely going to change about a show, make it the intro song, make it something new, make it something interesting, make it something that's not rap, hip hop, dubstep, and actually make it its own good thing. Pokemon did this excellently. I mean, so much so that they actually brought the song back for the X and Y anime. Another thing, you know, that horrible dialogue I was talking about in at the start of the episode. I mean, he has like 2 lip flaps he has to match, and he can't even do it. The lip flaps in the show are really badly done. Lip flaps refer to how often a character opens their mouth, and you have to kind of match the dubbing to that. Fun fact, in Japan, with most animes, they actually animate it before the audio is recorded for it, so the people in Japan actually have to do the dub lip flap matching too, so it's not a big deal. But I found this interview where one of the writers on the Yokai Watch American adaptation is like bragging about the fact that they're not matching the lip flaps. They're saying, oh, matching lip flaps isn't important. That's like, when you go and tell your actors, you know, oh, your performance, how good your performance is, it's not important. That's like probably the most patronizing thing I've ever heard, because the lip flaps on the show are so bad that I can't concentrate on anything else because it's just so distracting. Like, there's characters who open their mouth, like, wide after they're supposed to be done talking in this English version, and I can't get over that. And here are people working on the show on full damage control mode saying that missing the lip flaps that badly isn't a big deal. It's very much a big deal. I mean, this is supposed to be the show that kicks Pokemon off its high horse. Like, the reason it really took off in Japan was because of the show. So if they're putting this little effort into the American adaptation, you know, it doesn't send a very positive message. And you know what? I mean, a lot of the humor is really off, and the pronunciation of the characters' names. Jibanyan is not an onion, okay, guys? And they have this character Mangy Mutt. Mangy Mutt, he's Jin Menken with the dog with the man's face. I'm almost positive it's supposed to be pronounced Mangy Mutt. So you got the man and the dog part, you know. They can't even get their own puns right. It's and speaking of puns, okay, I got the notes here. It's about localization, and the jokes and the dialogue and stuff is kind of poorly localized as well. Remember how I said that all of the humor and a lot of the dialogue was so very Japanese that it would be a really bad idea to just try to localize it that way, and you'd have to get like a miracle localization for it to work? Well, the best example I can think of is episode 2, when they introduce Walcappa. In fact, any of Walcappa's scenes are written as though your average person knows what a kappa is. Now, in Japan, a kappa is about as well known as like Bigfoot or the jackalope. It is a tiny bit obscure, but still pretty dang commonly known. And the purpose of the first scene with Walcappa is to introduce how he's different from a regular Kappa of legend. There actually is a Yokai Watch ordinary Kappa. Walcappa's actually a variation who likes pizza and walking rather than, you know, cucumbers and swimming. So having that identity is important there, but like I said, the comedy is written in such a way that it's for people who already know what a Kappa is. And they didn't really do anything about that in the American release, particularly with the comment about how a guy drops a bowl on his head, a guy that they rewrote who sounds less like somebody who works for a caterer like in the original and more like some guy who just digs stuff out of the river. They didn't change that, so I don't know how well the context is going to travel through. And there's also the Mito Men, who got changed into the nose sirs in the American translation. So in Japanese, one of the Mito Men actually has like a nose hair hanging out of his nose, and in America they changed that into a booger so that they could go, oh, that's not right, and stuff like that. But honestly, that's kind of a missed opportunity. I mean, nosers, nose hairs, missed opportunity, hack writing. And the Mito Men, the pun with Mito Men is Mito Men is kind of like a short, masculine, tough way of saying Mito Men, which is like, I will not accept this, or this is unacceptable, or something like this. So the way Keita/Nate defeats them is by offering them thanks, but the Mito Men are not allowed to accept it, like men is written in English to indicate that they are men, manly men, as in person. But like I said, they can't accept Keita/Nate's thank you, but they really want to, but it's against their nature, which is what ends up defeating them, kind of in like a computer paradox way. So the fact that they were changed to the no sirs kind of lost that humor, kind of like what I was talking about before with the Onigiri Samurai. And speaking of onigiri, you know, even Pokemon figured out how to call it something other than a jelly donut. I mean, people make fun of 4Kids now, but confession time, these days I actually can't hate 4Kids Entertainment, because they are the ones who managed to get the entire country addicted to both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they actually did some really good adaptation work on this. I mean, honestly, how many people in America do you think would be comfortable referring to Ash as Satoshi and Jesse and James as Musashi and Yamato, who are actually, like, named after, like, Japanese battleships that no one would understand? That wouldn't work. They did a really good job on adapting things, and all of these other shows that they've been putting out have just been missing the mark terribly, because I think people are saying, oh, don't do what 4Kids did, even though what 4Kids did worked. Like, Digimon Cross Wars got changed into Dank Meme Adventure, and LBX, a great story about deconstruction, about like all these toy animes and stuff like that, had the deconstruction plot surgically removed from it. Like Assassin in the Dark and Sniper vs. Sniper were not even shown, which is why the people who watched my review are lucky to know that those episodes, those fantastic episodes, even exist. And now Yokai Watch, I'm hearing a lot about how they're trying to keep a lot of the original content in there while changing what they have to. I don't think they really understand what needs to stay and what needs to go. Like Garapo, that should have gone. Like that should have been replaced by something else, because in English it just doesn't work at all. Same with Yoderu, whatever that song is at the end that just triggers me now because I've heard it so much. Those could have been replaced with something done properly in English. Oh man. From the station that brought you Gravity Falls, everybody, we now have a really horrible dub whose creators brag about how poorly it's done. So here is my guess. I mean, the Yokai Watch game itself looks fun, but like I said before, it's not really going to go anywhere like beyond like a niche audience, kind of like the folks who are into Digimon these days, or Fossil Fighters or something like that. The new Fossil Fighters game too, that was terrible. Although from what I can tell in Yokai Watch, it's because they're trying to respond to Yokai Watch, and I'm worried all these games are going to try to respond to Yokai Watch, even though its market is going to stay firmly rooted in Japan, which actually kind of worries me. But you know, they'll be lucky to break 10,000 units on launch day. That's my guess with the Yokai Watch. If they get up to even 20 or 30,000 units, I will be surprised. So I mean, maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place, but I'm not seeing like a large social media response or like a fan art response or anything regarding this show or this whole premise over here, aside from people who got hyped about it before the dub and all this and the demo and stuff came out. So we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna get back to work on what I got going on over here. The Power Rangers review I managed to lose a few of the props for on the road here, but I did find the Garumanite Sword, so I'll have a review of that ready soon. And until then, until I manage to get some actual Yokai Watch stuff, this is Kohdok signing off.